All right, all right. Hello, everyone, and now welcome to a game. This game promises to be a good one between Sonic and Tho. We see Tho spawning as the blue human on the top right-hand side of the map. Meanwhile, we have Sonic spawning on the bottom left-hand side of the map as the yellow night elf here on Twisted Meadows. Twisted Meadows is a very large map, so expecting a lot of action, a lot of bases, and we'll get this game underway. 2-minute mark of the game, we're going to start seeing the heroes, start seeing some of the action. Yes, jumping straight to the game here. Archmage, Footman going to go ahead and get trained up. Meanwhile, it is going to be a Demon Hunter creeping alongside this Ancient of War. Null Overseer will get taken down, picking up that item. This is a 5-3-1 creep camp. And once this 5-3-1 creep camp is cleared, well, units will be making their move. Archmage going straight after the Ogre Magi creep camp here. He's going to drop a Water Elemental? No, hasn't done so yet. There's finally that Water Elemental, but waiting for the Forest Troll Trappers to throw their ensnares down first. That's actually a very, very good point by Tho. And all of these small differences, the Water Elemental absorbed 500 points of damage. And that is essentially saving 2 militia here to try and build out this expansion. Another Ancient of War gonna get scouted out here by Tho. This Ancient of War will get taken down, and I am really curious as to how this game is going to play out. Human versus Night Elf. The meta has drastically changed with the introduction of, well, Huntresses gaining access to heavy armor. There's been some big impacts there overall, right? Where suddenly piercing damage and siege damage isn't dealing nearly as much here. Ancient of War now down to 86 hit points. It looks like this Ancient of War will get taken out now. And now that it is taken out, well, Sonic no longer has the option to try and Ancient of War clear out of this mercenary creep camp. All right. That is an important play, I must say. All right, some repairs now underway onto this scout tower, and nicely positioned. All right, so we're going to be looking at some repairs here. The peasants are trying to repair. Demon Hunter going to perhaps turn on Immolation as it comes across, and now more damage. Archers may be able to start pelting down one of those low hit point Footman. Footman down to 10 hit points. He gets taken out easily as the Demon Hunter going after the Footman here. All right, so nice, strong plays by Sonic. Meanwhile, the archers should be able to start pelting down some of these lower hit point peasants as well. Demon Hunter trying to go after some of these targets. There's going to be another peasant there. There's going to be another peasant down here. But the Demon Hunter, down to 30 hit points, is forced to try and retreat. Immolation was kept on here, finally turned off, but it did deal a little bit of, well, departing damage as the Footmen were nearby. All right, Hunter's Hall here. We are looking at a Tree of Life now at the 9 o'clock position. One single Ancient of War. No Hunter's Hall as of yet. Nope, take it back. Hunter's Hall getting established as we are going to have Tho setting up an Arcane Tower here. Both sides really trying to do some heavy creeping, and it's the race to level 3. Archer of Sonic is scouting out this position, sees exactly what is going on. Archmage is not going to get to level 3 off of this creep camp, and the Demon Hunter perhaps going to try and run about, cause a little problems. Archer currently, well, breaks the Shadow Meld temporarily. There's another Water Elemental being dropped down. And, well, the archers are trying to, well, perhaps finish off some of these units. Demon Hunter does have Boots of Speed, should be able to close in on this distance pretty quickly. Meanwhile, the Arcane Tower is already up. Water Elemental down to 58 hit points. Is it going to end up getting denied? That is the question. They're trying to finish off the attack there, and a beautiful deny by Tho. Arcane Tower now, well, going to feed back a little bit of that damage onto that Demon Hunter, switching over to that Archer. Now, what is really in store here? Both sides trying to well, set up a proper mid game. Both sides are going to be trying to run up on 2 bases, but Sonic has to be be careful about how he's going to do this. He's off on the far side of the map here. The Tree of Life is already up, and he does need to clear out that well, 9 o'clock position. A beautiful deny once again by Tho. Right there. Coming back to the south, Archers, well, taking a little bit of damage, is trying to retreat back once more. There's a lot of Footmen out here on the battlefield. Boots of Speed still going after all of these targets. Meanwhile, this Archer is trying to retreat back as well. Nearly daybreak here as the Archers are going to end up falling very, very slowly. Tech to tier 2 has now just been started. Are we getting huntresses yet? No, still training up archers. So we may not even be going for huntresses at all. I'm going to be very curious to see how all of this unfolds here. There's going to be that tree of life. There's already triple archers in this position. More archers going to be joining in on the battle as the demon hunter, well, tries to stave off the archmage and the footman here. All right. Tree of life tanking a lot of damage. Archers pelting from behind. And that tree of life is just pretty much walking his way over and giving experience to that demon hunter. Level 3 demon hunter is going to toggle that immolation. It should be toggling that immolation. And there it goes now, dealing very strong damage across all of these units. There goes one peasant right there and trying to add up a little bit more. Demon hunter seems to be okay. Meanwhile, more archers joining in on the battle, and this forest troll trapper will get taken out. Last forest troll trapper to be taken out here. Demon hunter not really caring about this arcane tower at all. See a little bit of damage over time. But without footman and the archmage here, and the fact that the demon hunter doesn't have any mana means that this demon hunter isn't going to be taking that much damage at all. All right. He's going to back himself into a corner, staff of teleportation away, pick up the item. No, going to head over to the Moonwells, drink up a little bit, but there's still an item here, a circlet of nobility that has been dropped. All right, everyone here setting up for a long game. 44 supply compared to 40. Archmage is still only sitting at level 2 right now. Demon Hunter at level 3, getting close to level 4, as we do see huntresses out here on the battlefield ready to join in on the battle. All right, a little bit of, well, glaive bounce damage, perhaps going to finish off some of these targets. Null Warden, well, takes bonus damage from that medium, or from that huntress right there. Are we getting up more huntresses? We are. 42 over 60 supply. Adding in more huntresses, perhaps we will be seeing that glaive armor coming into play here, and we'll see whether or not riflemen and huntresses are going to become a problem. Panda now out here on the battlefield, and the Panda's a perfect counter to all of this early footman play. And then once it gets to level 3 and level 5, perhaps it's going to try to start blowing over some of those additional expansions as well. Footman is going to get denied. No, it is not. This water elemental also going to be taking quite a bit of damage. I'm going to see a breath of fire. Well, breath of fire, but it was a little bit late. The footman able to deny that one water elemental again. Panda on the board with some experience, but could have double that if it was just, well, a little bit faster on that trigger. All right, selling an item there. Demon Hunter taking a little bit of damage. Arcane Vault going to fall. And we can see a scroll of regeneration back here as Tho is purposely hiding under the cover of these towers. All right, hiding under the cover of towers. Demon Hunter perhaps looking to find ways to, well, pick off units as they're making their way back over, as Tho is setting up an Arcane Sanctum and also teching to tier 3 as well. Blood Mage going to be out here on the battlefield soon, as the Demon Hunter, well, could always retrain into Mana Burn. Always a dangerous proposition. If we try and go for Mountain King second, suddenly the Archmage and the Mountain King are going to be constantly out of mana as the Demon Hunter retrains into Mana Burn there. All right, we're going to see a Breath of Fire. That's a lot of footmen. That's a highly efficient use of mana right there as the Demon Hunter comes across, and now with Immolation just going after all of these targets. All right, more damage going to be brought across here. Huntresses without that heavy armor taking quite a bit of damage, and now we're looking at the archers trying to finish off some of these water elementals here. One water elemental, it looks like it will get taken down. Are we going to see a little bit of damage there? That one water elemental down to 81 damage. It's going to fall. Meanwhile, Demon Hunter still chasing after targets as the Blood Mage does go for Siphon Mana, was able to drain a lot of the mana out of the Demon Hunter, and the Demon Hunter pretty much going to be forced to try and retreat back again. Circuit of Nobility still here, both sides running up on 2 bases. Now, as Sonik takes this, oh, Sonik gonna lose a Huntress to creeps, not a good sign at all. But as Sonik is getting this Brewmaster to level 3, he's just trying to keep his opponent in check. Meanwhile, Tho is now sitting on nearly 1,200 gold and is at tier 3 as well. There's a Staff of Sanctuary saving a low hit point footman. Demon Hunter, another quick kill right there. Siphon Mana into the Sorceress so that the Sorceress can cast a slow effectively once more. Orb of Slow for Tho. As are we going to be looking at Yep, and there is, yeah, another couple water elementals here again. Demon Hunter is at 4, Panda is at 3. Dryads out here on the battlefield. Abolish Magic should make short work of those units as the archers, well, pelt down a couple of these targets. We don't see we do have the better range, but we don't have the improved bow upgrade, I don't believe, as the Demon Hunter going after the Ogre Warriors and perhaps these Forest Trolls as well. Though building up infrastructure here, a lot of Sim City going on, trying to make sure that he can get into the upper echelons of low upkeep, also getting level 1 attack upgrades as we're going into mass siege engines by Though. That is, well, the strategy that a lot of Night Elf players just absolutely hate, trying to deal with siege engines with that fortified armor, only having archer damage, archer piercing damage, and hero damage, both of which all do reduced damage to that siege armor there. Alright, more damage coming back across. We can see a couple of Druids of the Claw out here on the battlefield. We should be looking at some rejuvenations onto these, well, semi-low hit point heroes. Are looking at a Ring of Regeneration. Panda gonna go ahead and pick that up. Mantle of Intelligence +3. Is it gonna be left behind? It is. Completely left behind, perhaps going to be picked up a little bit later as the Druid of the Claw should be going into its, well, bear form here if it's trying to engage. Demon Hunter, are we going to see another rejuvenation here? Both sides going to engage. There's a Drunken Haze, there's a Breath of Fire, and that's going to be some nice damage over time as a low hit point priest ends up getting saved with the Staff of Sanctuary. Quick Abolish Magic there, and the damage is still racking up. Demon Hunter still has Immolation, going to go ahead and turn it on, trying to finish off some of these targets. Panda now going to come across here. We're going to see another dead footman as the Blood Mage has to be very careful. Are we going to see some more Breath of Fire here? Should be looking at a Breath of Fire. There you go, blows one over. And if you were ever wondering about the range on that Breath of Fire, the animation doesn't really tell you how far it really reaches. Footman now down to 24 hit points. One more attack, it gets taken down. And the Demon Hunter already nearing level 5. There's a Drunken Haze, there's a Breath of Fire. That's going to be another dead priest right there. Sorceress gets backed into a corner, but able to slip through once more. All right. Demon Hunter, Panda, well, working together, but without Staff of Sanctuary, this is going to be a little, or Staff of Preservation, it's going to be difficult to keep all of these units alive. Meanwhile, we are looking at Druids of the Claw trying to take down and handle these siege engines here. There's a lot of split battling between the heroes as the siege engines are going to try to snipe down a couple of these buildings. No improved Moonwell upgrades, so they're not going to be dealing additional, additional damage. Or have additional capacity as we see level 5 now on the Demon Hunter. All right, we're going to look at a Moonwell. One Moonwell completely taken down. We're going to see another siege engine perhaps taken out here as well as the bears are just trying to claw their way and take down those siege engines again. All right, more siege engines rolling on through. These are 1-1 upgraded and, well, an additional pair of tanks now walking over as well. Ancient of Wars. They are no longer buildings, or they're still buildings, but they no longer have fortified armor, meaning that they can actually deal, or they don't take bonus damage here. Are we perhaps going to see some repairs? There we are. There's the repairs. And now that that Tree of Life is getting repaired and no longer has fortified armor, able to fight back against these siege engines. However, that damage is still rather high. We're going to watch the siege engines try to roll away again as the Panda comes back across here. 78 supply compared to 70 over 60. Upside down on supply. Sonik going to have a little bit of problems as we now see Immolation again. All right, there's going to be another death of a Water Elemental Demon Hunter. Pandas continuing to work their way through. We're going to see Holy Light trying to save another Archmage there as Siphon Mana. All right, beautiful Staff of Sanctuary saving another Knight there. So anytime large amounts of damage are being dealt, they're just getting, well, absolutely saved. All right, Paladin could be in trouble. One more final shot. It gets taken out. Level 1 Paladin falls. Brewmaster, however, too far away to get the experience as we're looking at slow poison now applied onto those Spellbreakers. All right, Spellbreaker looks like it's going to get taken out. Panda will get to level 4. 59 supply compared to 75, but the siege engines still causing troubles as the Demon Hunter now getting teleported back home. More Moonwell is going to get lost. However, Sonik was able to drink from that Moonwell right as it's going to get cleared up. And this is just absolute cheese at its finest, or worse, depending on what side of the equation you are on. 79 supply compared to 61 siege engines just constantly causing problems. Ancients of War making their way over as the Demon Hunter now gets up to level 6. This is important. Demon Hunter at level 6 means that when we now have access to Chaos damage. Chaos damage on the Demon Hunter could easily shut down all of this siege engine play. I don't remember the last time I saw a 16, 17 minute Demon Hunter going up against mass siege engines. Demon Hunter now going after the Archmage here. This is 4-2-1 going up against a 6-4 as the Demon Hunter once again low on mana. Paladin back out here onto the battlefield. He's going to try and, well, keep the Archmage alive and well. Meanwhile, the Demon Hunter does have a rejuvenation. Is he going to be able to survive here? Able to back away temporarily. A couple water elementals getting taken out as the Demon Hunter needs to retreat back home. Wants to find some moon wells, but hasn't been able to do that since so many of them were taken down. All right, are we going to see a Staff of Preservation? No, we are not. Low hit point, Druid of the Claw, able to retreat back. Demon Hunter now starting to dive after all of these units. Had Metamorphosis, didn't use it, but perhaps wants to use it just in case more siege engines roll on in. All right, there's a Breath of Fire. There goes another unit there. We're looking at a little bit of slow poison. Staff of Sanctuary going to save once more. Staff of Sanctuary on the Blood Mage. Archmage perhaps should also be trying to pick up a Staff of Sanctuary as well. Panda may be forced to try and drink some Moonwell juice and then teleport over. There is an Ogre Mauler just standing across here, and the Ancients of War are in position again. They're going to try and take down this Tree of Life, this Entangled Gold Mine. This could be problematic once more. There is another uprooting, and there is going to be some more healing again. During this time, Archmage, Paladin, Blood Mage looking to clear out a red creep camp. Druids of the Claw making their way over. Demon Hunter, well, sitting at level 6, does have a Clarity Potion. Is it gonna... It should be going into Metamorphosis and then going straight after these siege engines. That is going to be some easy experience right there. Come on, go. This is the perfect time to do it. All right, not using Metamorphosis. And yeah, Metamorphosis would actually do wonders for Sonik right now to just deal with these buildings. Panda, Breath of Fire would also deal large amounts of damage as well, as we're going to be looking at more and more damage coming back across here. There's some repairs. Are we going to see another Breath of Fire trying to save here? There's a Roar. There goes another couple of buildings. And this is just problematic again. Panda could have used a Breath of Fire to try and save, and this is a game of attrition now. Both sides just trying to deal damage to each other, but the Archmage, Blood Mage, and Paladin are getting a perfect opportunity to get hero experience. The hero level advantage is gonna close out here as the Brewmaster may get to level 5, but that is gonna be the end of it. Not being able to get to level 6 off of creeps, that is going to be 100% important, as the Archmage and company are just finding opportunities to clear out location after location. All right, Gauntlets of Ogre Strength +3. Knights now being brought on over. Paladin does have room for the Gauntlets of Ogre Strength. Gonna go ahead, try to take this down. Demon Hunter finally goes into Metamorphosis. It doesn't turn on Immolation as well. There's Orb of Slow, not using Immolation. I'm not quite sure why he isn't doing that, as the Demon Hunter, well, trying to break free from this surround. Dryads are going to be coming over as well. Druid of the Claw, Metamorphosis. Demon Hunter could be in a little bit of trouble. What is going on here? Needs to get a rejuvenation. Doesn't get a rejuvenation. Scroll of Town Portal in order to teleport away. But this expansion is going to end up falling as all the units retreat back. Meanwhile, off to the north, Sonik is trying to set up another base here. So Sonik taking a play out of Moon's playbook. Never found, on Twisted Meadows, never saw a gold mine that he didn't want to try and capture with a Tree of Life. All right, Demon Hunter coming back across here really should be going after these siege engines as well. You can see that chaos damage, how effective it is. Or how effective it was temporarily, as the Demon Hunter now trying to close in on this distance. Meanwhile, Ancient of Wonder is going to get cleaned up here. Panda coming back across level 3, Breath of Fire. There's a Drunken Haze. There's a Breath of Fire across multiple targets. That's going to be some damage over time again, as the Brewmaster now out of mana once more. All right, all the Moonwell is pretty much gone from inside of this base. Not really a home field advantage at all. As you see, all of these Moonwells are pretty much bone dry too. Are we going to see some detonation? There we go. There's detonation taking things down. Brewmaster going to come back across, perhaps get a breath of fire. Does get a breath of fire across all of these targets again, as the siege engines are going to roll on into the expansion again. Druids of the Clod trying to handle all of these units once more. So just mass siege engines constantly causing problems. Brewmaster right here. Are we going to see another breath of fire? Yes. Another breath of fire across multiple targets. Archmage considering chasing after a Dryad, but may consider against it, as we now see Archmage getting slowed. All right, Archmage now down to 183 hit points. Gets choked up by a sheep. And are we going to see a breath of fire here? There's a drunken haze. There's a breath of fire. A little bit of damage over time. Archmage could be in trouble. Down to 24 hit points. There's another holy light. Down to 144. That damage over time. Adding in a little bit more, but not having enough mana on that Brewmaster, as we're still fighting its way through. Archmage back up to 326 after 2 holy lights. As we're looking at, well, this Ogre Mauler here just beating down a couple of these peasants, giving a little bit more experience once again. Though taking this starting location at the 5 o'clock spot, very well protected, level 2 masonry upgrades as well. Those buildings are very well protected here, as the Tree of Eternity going to try and establish itself at this expansion location. Meanwhile, Panda still continuing to fight after all these targets. 76 supply compared to 51. Sonik is in the worst part of low upkeep and can't even train up anything new here, as we look at a siphon mana away from that Brewmaster. Level 6, level 5 compared to a 4-3-2. Dryads trying to pick off additional targets again, as the Paladin does have Divine Shield, able to stay alive at least for a little while longer. O2 upgrades on those Knights. Are we going to see another Staff of Sanctuary? I do not believe so. This Knight is going to end up getting taken down. Only one Staff of Sanctuary between the two, as the Demon Hunter now gets up to level 7. That Demon Hunter at level 7, agility-based heroes, that damage, very high indeed. Paladin going to end up getting the Scroll of Town Portal to live and fight another day, as we're going to look at this, well, all of those units back away. More siege engines rolling in to try and take down all of these buildings. And, well, 3-2 upgrades on these siege engines. All right, Demon Hunter comes back across. You can see a little bit of damage every single time. Clarity Potion, Moonwell trying to, well, pick things up. Going to pick up a Circuit of Nobility, perhaps, after all this time. And now go after these siege engines again. Ancient of Wars. And all of these bears trying to take down these high hit point, high armor, fortified targets here. As the Demon Hunter finally goes, you know what? It does make sense for me to go into chaos damage against these targets. All right, you can see like how much more damage the Demon Hunter. It does 100% damage per attack here, and that is so much more efficient again, as the Demon Hunter may just constantly use Metamorphosis against the units here. Meanwhile, Panda could be in a little bit of trouble, backed up into a corner. Is he going to, Staff of Teleportation out of a dicey, sticky situation, as this, well, siege engine, well, knows exactly what's hitting him. Chaos damage with Orb of Venom range attacks. Archmage and Blood Mage once more making their way after this Rock Golem creep camp. Paladin now going to join up on that fight as well. And the majority of the creep camps on the main portion of Twisted Meadows now cleared. We're 25 minutes into this game. No clear victor and no clear advantage for either player yet. Demon Hunter, well, slowed, siphon mana, trying to go after some targets. There is some immolation. And what is the Demon Hunter doing here? Demon Hunter does have a, well, max evasion and also max immolation. No retrain to mana burn though. That does come as a little bit of a surprise, as we're looking at some damage being done here. All right, there's some more abolished magic. There's some breath of fire going down. And the Demon Hunter really just racking up damage once more. Brewmaster nearing level 6. This could be a very big deal, as we're seeing more damage here. All right, slow, Drunken Haze. Are we going to see, oh, Breath of Fire? And now Panda at level 6 perhaps can start using Cyclone with Earth, Storm, and Fire. Demon Hunter chasing after targets here. There's a little bit of slow poison and a little bit of damage over time. There's another Holy Light. Paladin, that invulnerability is not going to last forever. And the Blood Mage gets in the Siphon mana in time before the Brewmaster can split up into Earthstorm and Fire and break that connection. There's another Breath of Fire, more Siphon mana. Demon Hunter getting shut down once again as the Dryad and all of these units trying to back up again. Siege Engine trying to take down the Tree of Eternity. There is Staff of Teleportation, and now this could be problematic. Tree of Eternity needs to uproot even at 800 hit points. The siege damage is going to be far too much. Brewmaster trying to finish things off here. There's some more repairs and more repairs underway, and while trying to eat up some of those as well. All right. One target not being able to attack. There should be enough Wisp to repair now, as they now should be attacking the same target to try and take them down slowly but surely. All right, one base mining versus one base mining. We're looking at both targets, both heroes now going after one target at a time. Even the Tree of Eternity has turned back around to try and engage. Tree of Eternity down to 1,300 hit points, but should be able to hold on as the Demon Hunter getting closer to level 8. Archmage clearing out the last red creep can on the main portion of the map. We are going to get a level up perhaps on the Archmage and also on the Blood Mage. That could be a very big deal as a double level up here. Suddenly, we are instead of 4-3-2, we're at 5-4, maybe even 5-4-3. It could be a triple level up if the Paladin gets enough experience and the Archmage and the Blood Mage back away. It is a triple level up. So instead of 8-6 against 4-3-2, it is against 5-4-3, and that is going to be a dramatic shift. All right, Ancients of War. One of the benefits of Ancients of War and having all of these Ancients of War is that it does not add to your supply count. So Sonik is, building a whole bunch of Ancients of War in order to combat against all of these siege engines, knowing that while they are uprooted, we're going to see a quick cancellation here. That's going to be a lot more damage. One more shot, no cancellation. Wisp is gone, and now this is going to be key, a key point to watch. If the Ancient of War is taken down while it is under construction, no Wisp again. That is going to be a problem. Meanwhile, we are also looking at another base being set up by Tho off to the north here. So Tho is just playing a very annoying game. We're 28 minutes into this, and still Sonik is just trying to keep his Ancients alive. Demon Hunter going after all of these targets, perhaps could be going for Metamorphosis. No, doesn't want to do it quite yet, as the Blood Mage now shows up. All right, we need to see Metamorphosis now, going after these targets. All right, is he going to try and go after the Siege Engine? Yes, Siege Engine, a little bit of splash damage going. Banish. Blood Mage can start banishing the Demon Hunter, and that's going to, be a strong counter, as the Demon Hunter cannot deal any damage while he is in that ethereal form. All the Wisps have been cleared up here. Demon Hunter now trying to go after all of these siege engines, and the Tree of Eternity is going to fall here. All right, a lot of damage onto that Archmage. Archmage going to try to back away. Are we going to see the Death of a Knight? Yes, Death of a Knight finally getting taken out, but the damage has been done. Scroll of Town Portal back home. Tree of Eternity now gone, as the units perhaps need to back away again. All right, Siege Engines, 48 to 88 damage. A little bit of range right there. We're going to see more Siege Engines rolling on through. Perhaps the Panda with Breath of Fire can start blowing these over as well, as the Siege Engines, are trying to clear out a tree that has already been taken down. Meanwhile, off over here, Sonik only has 3 minutes of mining left, and that is going to be a major problem, as Tho Samdan has one operating base right here, and still has quite a bit of mining here for the next 20 minutes. All right, Blood Mage Paladin still able to gain experience here. Blood Mage purposely just draining mana from the Null Warden, and Siege Engines just rolling pretty much everywhere. Demon Hunter, what is going to go down here? Demon Hunter Panda just wandering around the map, And do they have enough to actually shut down their enemies? We can see that there's also dual staff of sanctuaries on the human heroes, and also dual pendants of mana, not even pendants of energy, dual pendants of mana on that paladin. The paladin is going to be able to heal and keep the archmage and blood mage topped out on hit points for days. Look at that, 610 mana on the paladin. The paladin actually having more mana than the archmage at this stage. All right, arcane towers, guard towers causing problems here once more. Siege engines just underneath this position in a defensive spot. And how is this going to go down here? Is the Panda going to try and Breath of Fire things, go after a couple of these targets? Well, Earth Norman Fire ready to go. And what's going to go down? Blood Mage trying to drain mana off of the Demon Hunter. And now the Paladin could be in trouble. The Paladin, if he's constantly cycloned, well, could be neutralized here. Meanwhile, Banish onto the Panda, onto Fire here, as the Fire does have a little standing immolation damage. All right. Paladin quickly using a Divine Shield in order to try and stay alive. Archmage could be in trouble. No, Archmage able to stay alive temporarily. We're seeing more damage coming back across. There goes another, and the Archmage falls at level 5. All right, going straight after the heroes could be exactly what the doctor ordered, as the Blood Mage going to fall as well. Banish onto the Blood Mage. Banish ends up staying, keeping alive, and now he gets taken down as well. Cyclone working exactly as the doctor ordered, figuring out ways to neutralize the Panda, or the Paladin. Once the Paladin can no longer burst heal, that changes everything. Now, level 3 mana burn onto the Paladin. Paladin could actually run out of mana here, as we see a double hero resurrection. All right, double hero resurrection followed by Divine Shield. Blood Mage, Blood Mage unable to siphon mana from the Demon Hunter just quite yet, as the Demon Hunter is now sitting at level 9. Slippers of Agility not going to get picked up here. We're looking at the Panda hanging back and going after all of these peasants. Brewmaster will not get to level 7 off of this creep camp, but it is going to shut down a base. So it is now going to be 1 base to, well, 0 bases here in just a couple of seconds. Siege engines, well, never found a building that they didn't want to take down, and so that's exactly what's happening here, going after these buildings now. All right, Demon Hunter going to go ahead and staff a teleportation back around. Are we going to go Metamorphosis? Yes, we are, and that is going to be that range chaos damage going after these buildings. Ancient of Lore down to 65 hit points. Is it going to end up getting taken out? It is, but at the cost of 2 siege engines, as you can see that little bit of splash damage, allowing for the second siege engine to fall faster. Meanwhile, off to the north here, Demon Hunter not engaging against these siege engines, missed damage opportunities again. Demon Hunter needs to go after those targets, as the main base off to the north has been cleaned up. Panda, well, looking to clean up a couple of these peasants, and I take it back. The Brewmaster may actually get to level 7 cleaning up peasants all across the battlefield. All right. Brewmaster, does he have Earthstorm and Fire? No, not quite yet. Is he going to try and break free? He's going to end up getting surrounded. Demon Hunter is right here. There's going to be a mana burn, and now the Brewmaster is in a little bit of a tough spot. All right, there's going to be a Holy Light, Divine Shield. We're going to see some Abolish Magic just going after targets, as the Brewmaster does get a Scroll of Town Portal. There's some Siphon Mana, as we're going to see some more damage going back every which way. There's the Scroll of Town Portal in order to exit the battlefield, and, well, everything will live to fight another day, as the Scroll of Town Portal to this Tree of Life off over here. I was like, where's that Tree of Life? Oh, it was on the move. All right, Wisp hanging off to the side here. It is currently one base mining versus, well, 3/5 of a base mining. Sonik is just building bases everywhere he can. Dryad's going to make their way over. All of these moon walls are incredibly important to keep the Demon Hunter's mana topped off and be able to get those mana burns. Sonik may get to a level 10 hero, but it is this could all change dramatically if we see a level 6 Archmage. This is gonna really come down to it. As you can see, the Demon Hunter not dealing nearly as much damage per attack. Demon Hunter getting 20 damage per swipe instead of the full 60, as the Tree of Life now getting repaired. All right, Tree of Life down to 100 hit points, and we see another siege engine taken out. All right, meanwhile, more pressure being brought on into this expo or outpost here. It is getting cleaned up. No way to Scroll of Town Portal here. There's no longer a Tree of Life, so all of these moon wells could get cleaned up. That's going to be a major, major setback in terms of trying to train as the Panda comes down to the south to clean up all of these scout towers. All right, not being able to train up units, that's going to be key. We're looking at 63 over 70 supply, but that is 5 Moonwells. That is 60 supply right there as the Demon Hunter now comes over to try and protect. All right, Demon Hunter going to get to level 10. Max level Demon Hunter, 67 damage per attack on the high end. There's some more mana burn as the Blood Mage now going to be forced to try and retreat back. Demon Hunter could drink from some Moonwell. There's another mana burn onto the Demon Hunter. Demon Hunter now getting more mana from those Moonwells and going to be able to mana burn again, trying to constantly shut down targets. All right, there's some more Siphon mana. Drunken Haze, Breath of Fire coming back across multiple targets. Another Dryad going to get cleaned up here if they're not careful. Spellbreaker's trying to fight back every which way. There goes another Dryad. 54 supply compared to 48 as the Siege Engine just constantly causing problems. All right, Archmage trying to, down to 70 hit points. That Paladin able to teleport away. Scroll of Town Portal keeping that Archmage alive as we're looking at that Siege Engine 3-2 upgrades about to get taken down. All right, Sonik fully entangling that gold mine, if you look at infrastructure or bases, it is 2 bases to 1 right now, but infrastructure, there's not very much for Sonik. All of the Ancient of Wars that he had all across the map, they are pretty much getting taken down, and there is very limited ways for Sonik to actually spend his money. Another Siege Engine destruction, just going after Moonwell, but all of these Siege Engines are starting to fill up the Brewmasters and, well, this Demon Hunter's experience bar. More repairs underway again. We're going to see a 3-2 Siege Engine now, well, getting taken out again. All right, more Siege Engines. Just trying to win this game outright with brute force. No level 3 armor upgrades. Druids of the Claw having to be a little bit careful here. Spellbreakers, 0-2 upgrades as well. Paladin does have, has retrained. Oh, where's that Devotion Ore? On the Blood Mage. All right. All right, Tree of Life backed into a corner. Dryad's going to quickly abolish magic. Those water elementals, there's Siphon Mana, there's Earthstorm and Fire, and mana burning that Blood Mage so he can no longer do what he wants. All right, meanwhile, Paladin was thrown up into the air. Quick Divine Shield right there, going after these individual targets. Are we going to see another mana burn onto the Archmage, no longer able to drop down any more water elementals as the Demon Hunter now out as well. All right, Blood Mage could be running into a little bit of problems, and now the Archmage is in trouble as well. Is the Archmage going to be able to get free? There's a Staff of Sanctuary for the save, transferring that, having a third Staff of Sanctuary to save another hero. All right, Paladin continuing to use Staff of Sanctuary again. Archmage is currently under the effects of Staff of Sanctuary, so that means that it is not going to be able to move and could end up constantly just taking damage. There goes down a Knight as we're looking at perhaps another Siege Engine about to fall. Archmage is healing up nicely back at that castle. Meanwhile, trying to take down this one guard tower before it gets up. And now Sonik trying to set up another base again. All right, Siege Engines rolling on through. Are we going to get some repairs? We are. There is, 2 Siege Engines here. We're going to be looking at another Siege Engine getting taken down. Plenty of bears there to offer protection. All right, battling, going back and forth. Demon Hunter with high auto attacks right now. And this is going to be a crazy thought. Right? Auto attacks are going to make a very big difference here. And if the Brewmaster now gets up to level 10, the Brewmaster at level 10 is going to be scary because of level 3 Drunken Brawler. I don't remember the last time I've said level 3 Drunken Brawler, but this is actually a possibility. If he retrains, Drunken Haze is not working out well for him. But level 3 Drunken Brawler being able to get in critical strikes would be a huge advantage. If for those of you guys who need reference, level 3 Drunken Brawler is like having level 2 evasion and level 2 critical strike on the same hero. Its damage, its effectiveness is really high. As we're going to be looking at the Panda now here and watching his progress. Brewmaster getting a little bit more experience again. We're going to see some more Abolish Magic. Drunken, are we gonna see a Breath of Fire here? Dryad's trying to back away. We're gonna see some more damage. No Breath of Fire, as we see a Staff of Sanctuary saving at the last possible moment. Dryad getting taken down. Siege Engine gonna end up falling, and there's that Brewmaster now at level 8. Drunken Brawler is gonna be on the table, and that Drunken Brawler is gonna start doing some critical strikes. All right, is he gonna try to go after these targets here? We should be looking at Breath of Fire across these targets. Not quite sure why he isn't doing exactly that to try and finish off all of these siege engines. All right, there you go. Uprooting temporarily. Brewmaster has opportunity. There's gonna go Earthstorm and Fire instead. Oh, well, normal damage better than hero damage, and there's actually more targets as the scroll or staff of, what was that? That was gonna be a Staff of Teleportation. Where did he teleport off to? Don't really know. There goes another tree as this siege engine was able to snipe another building down. 41 supply compared to 45. Though sitting on 1,000 gold, but doesn't know quite how to spend it in order to, well, seal the victory here. Meanwhile, Sonic's expansion down to the southern side could get cleaned up here. Earthstorm and Fire was able to clean up all of these siege engines, perhaps. But I would have thought he would have gotten more experience. Is it going to suddenly jump up? No. Didn't get that much experience. Perhaps the Demon Hunter was nearby and took some of the experience as well. All right, Druids of the Claw going after a couple of these peasants again. Demon Hunter going after the Siege Engine. Siege Engine is going to find the lowest hit point Moonwell, try and take it down. Are we going to see some Moonwell drinking? No, we are not. So Tho able to snipe down another Siege Engine again before the heroes were able to grab some of that precious mana. All right, Brewmaster sitting at 8.2 now. We're looking at a couple of wisps. Are they going to detonate? No, they are not. Archmage getting closer to level 6. So we are looking at 2 ultimate abilities right now. Level 10, level 8 going up against 554 as the Demon Hunter goes into Metamorphosis and says, you know what, let's go. There's a quick mana burn, trying to go after some additional targets again. There's a Breath of Fire, and now the Brewmaster with Drunken Brawler can deal even more damage again. All right, gonna try to go after some targets. A Holy Light right there. Brewmaster going after some more, and once more that Drunken Brawler, 96 damage, critical strike, as we see some more Siphon mana shutting down the Brewmaster again. 43 supply over 50 compared to 45 over 100. Spellbreakers, all of the heroes constantly being able to Staff of Preservation, all of their friendly targets. That is going to be a huge deal indeed, as the Brewmaster being forced to retreat all the way back. We should be looking at a rejuvenation on that Brewmaster soon, as the Demon Hunter trying to be a one-man army and fighting its way through. There's a rejuvenation onto the Brewmaster, now going after the Paladin. Paladin's Divine Shield has another, 15 seconds. There's a Staff of Sanctuary saving again. Staff of Preservation heading back off to the north, as the Demon Hunter now trying to go after these targets once more. All right, the Tree of Ages could purposely eat its way through and try to get into a single file line, reduce its surface area, and I think that's exactly what Sonic's trying to do here, trying to go into a just go into a single file line and reduce the amount of siege engines that can actually attack. That's how he's going to be able to keep this Tree of Ages alive. The Siege Engine only has a range of 192, and by going off into this single corner spot, he was able to stay alive. Meanwhile, Brewmaster going to try to go after a couple of these Siege Engines again. And this Siege Engine down to 234 hit points. There's going to be a Breath of Fire, and now, another Siege Engine taken down. Brewmaster now sitting at 8.5, as this Siege Engine down to 233 hit points, going to try and back away. Tree of Ages wants to try and root there. Meanwhile, Tho with plenty of towers here, going to offer a lot of protection. Mining trying to happen off to the north again. And here on Twisted Meadows, just a long marathon of a game, 45 minutes. I feel like I'm just talking at the screen here. Not much to really analyze. They're just trying to beat each other with pure brute force. And see who's going to crack first. There's a quick Cyclone onto that Paladin, and now the Paladin quickly going to be forced to use that Divine Shield. Demon Hunter wants the mana burn or to cause problems for this Blood Mage. Blood Mage now gets backed away here. Staff of Sanctuary getting in a little bit more save. Paladin is now in a weird spot, as we're going to be looking at, there's a more siphon mana again. Demon Hunter is going to go after any of these targets. Paladin gets in another Holy Light onto that Blood Mage. They're going to be able to survive a little while longer. Meanwhile, the Archmage down to 527 hit points after a 400 hit point heal. All right, more targeting, more damage getting across here. Are we going to be looking at the Paladin? Paladin could be in trouble. No, Paladin is most likely going to get Staff of Sanctuary if it takes too much. Just a little bit late as the Paladin gets back home and lives to fight another day. Meanwhile, Druids of the Claw going after this cannon tower here. The cannon towers do have the largest range, 800, as the Demon Hunter trying to go after the Archmage again. Demon Hunter down to 100, or no, Archmage down to 93 hit points, able to back up once more, and they're just trying to get each of the heroes by themselves. Any easy way to get slow onto that Blood Mage. Blood Mage is running around this one town hall, but with the guard towers and cannon towers, the Dryad slow cannot constantly be applied. Demon Hunter still trying to catch up to that Blood Mage. Blood Mage does have boots of Blood Mage does have boots of speed alongside the Demon Hunter, as we see a Staff of Teleportation trying to run back. All right, cannon tower. There's some repairs. Demon Hunter gonna try and stop some of this, some of this mining here. And the Demon Hunter still, going to be taking some of that experience. Brewmaster is still sitting at level 8. And are we going to see, level 2 Drunken Brawler? All right, Sonik going to reestablish this gold mine off to the north, currently mining from here, trying to get some additional production buildings and moon wells going across, trying to get those Ancient of Lores that were lost. So Tree of Ages off to the north here. Mining nicely happening. We're looking at the Demon Hunter going to try and engage. Again, 39 supply compared to 34. These Dryads need to back away. There's some more rejuvenation again. 40 supply compared to 34. 20 supply army compared to 33. There's a Staff of Preservation for the save, as the Druid of the Claw, no longer under the effects of rejuvenation. And are we going to see these heroes, yes, drink up all of that Moonwell juice and then perhaps try and engage? Are we going to see an engagement here? Dryads, there's Potion of there's Divine Shield, there's Breath of Fire already being used. Blood Demon Hunter unable to metamorphosis. There's a mana burn onto the Archmage. Dryads taking quite a bit of damage as that slow orb of slow causing problems. Archmage trying to retreat back again. Water Elementals still able to deal quite a bit of damage as the Demon Hunter and Panda trying to just beat out the other heroes here. Brewmaster in a little bit of trouble, going to be forced to retreat back, as the Brewmaster, under the effects of that orb of slow, finally able to shake it off. Siege Engines looking for their next target. Druids of the Claw ready to take down this Siege Engine. Druid of the Claw and Dryad ready to take down that Siege Engine. This Tree of Life trying to hide itself off into a corner and, getting into that proper position again. Meanwhile, Demon Hunter going to come down here and try and stop all of this mining once more. The towers are getting upgraded. The Brewmaster and the Demon Hunter both have Staff of Teleportation. They can teleport out of this spot here. There's a Staff of Preservation, and now the Brewmaster going to Staff of Teleportation out and then get off to the Ancient of Wonders. Meanwhile, Staff of Teleportation inbound on the Archmage as the Water Elemental finishes off the Dryad here. All right, this one particular Tree of Life taking quite a bit of damage. Druid of the Claw going up against a Water Elemental. Meanwhile, Demon Hunter trying to shut down a Archmage down across here. There's a little bit of Orb of Venom damage over time, and that damage does start to tick down to 170 hit points after a mana burn, and now the Archmage gets a little bit more mana once again. All right, trying to go after these targets once more. Siege Engine, there's some more repairs. 580 some odd hit points. Panda now shows up. Are we going to see a Breath of Fire against any of these targets? Trying to go after the Siege Engine here. Just trying to constantly race after these targets, as there's Earth, Storm, and Fire again. All right, are we going to perhaps see another Druid of the Claw taken down? Siege Engine, Siphon mana, Demon Hunter mana burn onto the Paladin. Paladin currently invulnerable, getting cycloned up. Water Elemental going to get taken down as well. The Panda is just trying to constantly taunt targets. Siphon mana, Staff of Sanctuary for a save right there, as both sides still fighting. Another Staff of Sanctuary for a save as the Tree of Life lives to fight another day. Are we going to get a Cyclone? I do not believe we have enough mana, as the, well, fire is just trying to dive in on all of these targets. All right, more targeting, more damage. 654 mass teleport now finally on the table. Wind walking Panda, is it going to be able to get, well, it does have a wind walk strike. Not quite sure why it doesn't do exactly that, as the Panda now back out here on the battlefield. Archmage dangerously low on hit points, gets back up. That Breath of Fire not enough, as the Brewmaster using a Clarity Potion in order to, well, re-top off that mana. All right, we can see a couple of Moonwells here. We see a Tree of Life trying to be built here. This Tree of Life trying to reestablish here, but it feels like Tho is going to edge out on the victory here. 31 supply army compared to 9, and even with only 1 base mining right now, it just feels a little bit too much as Sonik tries to reestablish this northern spot. Tree of Life getting taken out. 654 going up against a 10-8. Demon Hunter and Brewmaster, those are the last heroes that are left here. A lot of lumber to use, but nothing to really to spend it on, as Tho is going to be setting up another base again. All right, can the Panda, can he get enough damage across all of these units? Earthstorm and Fire. Demon Hunter does have Metamorphosis immediately available. Is he going to go into Metamorphosis? Yes, he does. And now, is he going to just try to target some of these, target down these units? There's a Drunken Haze. There's a Breath of Fire. That's going to be damage over time. Sorceress gets Staff of Sanctuary to survive. This might be the last battle to just try and win this outright, as we're looking at damage getting racked up. There's a Holy Light, Staff of Sanctuary, and we're going to look at a Water Elemental get taken down. Brewmaster still sitting at level 8 here, as damage is still racking up onto that Demon Hunter. Demon Hunter down to 389 hit points, as we're looking at more damage getting racked up here. Archmage down to 318 hit points. There's another Holy Light, and like the Tri-Heroes are just too much, and Sonik is going to end up throwing in the towel. Sonik with the higher score, more than doubling the hero score, but unable to close out the game and defeat that siege engine strategy, as, well, Sonik could never get his economy underneath him. Let me know what you guys thought about this game in the comments below.